where you shouldn't be. Very easy win.
Well, guys, King Sejong is going to be map number 2, a map Zergs feel very comfortable with against Protoss. Let's see if Leenock can turn it around and bring us to a game 3, or if Super is going to take that 2-0. Move on to PvP against Terminator in the winners match here in Group A of the Neighbor Star League. That game started now. Up here in the top left, in red, on King Sejong Station, it's the Leenock-topus, Leenock. Formerly Leenock Foyu, and of course, probably most famous for his time on Epic's Open, but making a big name for himself back again here on Yowie.
He's back, man.
And he's up against, to the bottom right, the former MVP player, Super, once known as Vampire. Every time I think of him as Vampire, I just think of how he died to Line and the Baneling all-in on Daybreak, even though he saw the Banelings coming.
Wow, that's a fun memory.
If you look that game up, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely worth a watch.
Line.
It's a crazy game.
That's an old name.
I think at the time still on Next. I think it'd be like Next Line versus MVP Vampire. I think it was on Daybreak.
Now here
Funny
we go.
game.
First off, we're gonna see Leenock. Is he gonna go for? He is gonna go for that hatch first, and we are gonna see Forge fast expand, but not expand at all. It's gonna be fast cannons in just a second. If he avoids this Overlord, the Overlord sees it, but Leenock commits to the hatchery anyway. This could be a big of a mistake.
Let's see if he makes any more greedy drones. One so far. And he's going to send a drone down to the natural.
Yeah,
that's not enough.
He's going to have to, man. Like, this is going to be pretty brutal.
He's going to need more than one. At least one will spot.
Get into between, like, the back of the minerals, and from there...
Pool is very, much right after that additional drone. And pulls down 4. So he's probably not going to be able to cannon here, but we have seen it work before.
Depends how well he spreads out, and if the cannon, if the pylons get a nice little block. So we see the Nexus go down, so he isn't going to commit to it actually after all. Just making sure the drones come down to the natural to commit to the cancellation of it. Yeah. So it does some economic damage. Definitely far less than what a pylon costs. So it's still a very nice move from Super.
For sure. Well, the probe, just floating around here, still scouting. He's going to lurk around. Super knows with a late pool here, we could just get his gate up before a cannon. He's not worried about that. Even lets the pylon finish. And not a big deal. So he gets a small advantage from this sort of drone pull. It's not a huge amount of damage, but at least Leenock was able to react to that probe very carefully there, because if you get cannoned, you almost certainly lose the game.
You don't want to go to the losers after getting cannon rush. That'd be the worst feeling ever. Very nicely done. Yeah, Leenock not too far behind or anything like that. Just taking a little bit of economic damage, pulling those 4 drones down. And from there, he does secure his hatchery first, which is obviously going to be a nice little advantage in itself. Going for that bit of a later third, but not too late. And everything kind of normalizes, and it's going to go into that kind of standard sort of timings between Forge fast expand and a Zerg going 3 base.
Right, as we find out what sort of tech the Protoss, in this case Super, is going to choose. He's got a few choices. Stargate the most common. Robotics getting more popular recently.
Yeah, I mean Robo is not a bad choice at all. You got that Forge already. You got that +1 going on. Add a couple more gateways. You go into that decently timed 3rd base.
Warp Gate research also a very common follow-up, and we do see Chrono Boost being utilized on this Warp Gate research again. And he's getting +1 with it this time, much faster. So with this sort of timing, you can really put a lot of pressure onto a player who does not get a Roach Warren. Sometimes you can actually kill them. And his Lings do so poorly against +1 Zealots.
Yeah, we've seen 2 more gateways being added again, nice and early. I wonder if we're going to see the exact same style we saw last game, with that kind of 3 gateway pressure. Try and pick off what you can, do a bit of damage, force the Zerg to spend all its larvae on Zerglings and Roaches. From there, go into that 3rd base and that strong mid-game that we did see last game as well.
We do see a very safe Roach Warren timing by Leenock, though, at like 6:15. So he's going to have Roaches. He will be prepared for this. He's scouted out the +1 being researched. That's probably part of the reason why he does this.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to. You're not going to have much hope defending with Speedlings against the very early +1. We are seeing that robotics facility being added as well.
Super is just so crisp in this matchup. Really like his playstyle.
Yeah, he's got his own playstyle, that's for sure. He likes his own timings.
I mean, he likes to just walk out on the map, and I really like that because so many processes will just not do that. And you don't need that early Mothership core energy for much besides recalling. You know, unless someone's all-in you, you're not going to need the Nexus Cannon for a long time in this matchup. So I like to just use that first energy to pressure, force units instead of drones.
Yeah, and here we go. 5 Stalkers being added with this Mothership core. We are seeing a lot of Zerglings. Speed is a long way off this time there.
So he just wants to force some units here. Without speed, like you said, it's just so difficult for Leenock to hold. He might want to snipe a Roach or two. Gets one here. Damages the Queen's got to keep those back. Every Roach he can snipe is actually a big win, because he can just always recall and get these units away for free.
Yep. So really cost efficient, forcing out so many units. And from this, he's just transitioning into that Immortal, into the armor. So he's going for that 1-1 style once again. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that third base added very soon afterwards.
Yeah. 3 gates also, though. I mean, I was going to say, I would expect an Immortal follow-up. He's even going up to 7 gates. So
that's 8 gates, man.
Oh, yeah. 8 in total with that one at the natural.
8 Immortal all in. No Blink Stalker with this, just 1-1 upgrades. Normally, well, not normally, but often we would see Protoss kind of add Blink Stalkers to this as well, and they just constantly make this big ball bigger and bigger and bigger with Immortal upgrades and Blink Stalkers. But, I mean, just sticking with Immortals and 8 gateways.
I think it's just going to be 2 Immortals. I don't know if that Ling actually saw the Immortal or not. It's pretty tough to say. But, you know, if he gets...
Well, he sees it now.
He definitely does. What do you think about this Hydralisk, Dan? Do you think that he will be able to get Hydralisk out? Do you think that's a reasonable response here?
I think it's a good response if he gets it out in time, especially if he gets range in time upgraded. Hydra's definitely one of the best choices against especially gateway-oriented all-ins.
Ooh, and going to get a few Stalkers here for free.
Very important. And yeah, good against Immortals as well. It's just about getting them out in time, and I'm kind of worried that he might not.
Well, these Spine Crawlers are certainly going to make it a little bit easier.
Getting Groove Spine now, and he is making 4. But can he hold on until they're out? Until that upgrade is finished. This Spine Crawler is definitely going to give him a lot of time.
The concern for me about Super's push is he doesn't have a pylon. Okay, now he does. We can defend that. That's huge because, you know, if you don't have a pylon, then you can't use your Warp Prism to lift your Immortals to micro them. If you have a pylon, then you can use that to warp in. You can use your Warp Prism just to fly your Immortals around.
Yeah, it's a very important micro mechanic.
I feel like Leenock may just have enough here. He's got 4 spines to buy some more time.
He's in a kind of an awkward position where he can get force fielded out, which is what I'm very worried about, and which is exactly what happens. But those Spine Crawlers can still hit sentries.
Yeah, they're doing some serious work, popping sentries like balloons here. And the Hydros at the back come in, and here comes some Lings.
Well, they come in, but they die instantly because they are up against +1 Zealots.
With +1 armor, mind you. And Hydros range is done. But is this game done? He's lost a lot of those expensive units here, those Hydralisks.
So he doesn't lose too many Hydras. He can make this comeback just with reinforcements. He isn't too far gone just yet. He can even pull drones, which he is.
Queen's coming down to help as well. And again, the Lings connect with some of these sentries. And the Hydras at the back are trying to do that extra damage, that glass cannon damage, but the Immortals, full shield still, have not been touched. And here comes some more Warpins of Stalkers and Zealots.
So many Hydras now. I think it might be more than enough to deal with this, especially with a Queen and a Roach to tank things. Getting close. I mean, the one kind of redeeming factor is the fact that he lost all his drones at the third base, and we are seeing a Robo Bee being added. It's going to be the great follow-up for Super, and he can just continue on 2
look
bases.
at this. He's going to drop, you know, some Stalkers and even an Immortal. What? Oh, that burst damage on the Hydra is so scary. Okay. He's brave enough to come back in again.
He is crazy.
Super is so good. Now he's going to pick up and leave. Yeah, I lost my shields. I guess that's enough. That should be fine.
He's got to be careful. But, yeah, he's going to follow up with the Colossi.
Is he going to come in again? No, Super. No, that's too much.
No, he would just die, I think.
That's way too much.
He would just die. Look.
Oh, no. Those are Hydralisks, man. They shoot air and they shoot hard and fast.
Adding Twilight wouldn't be a bad idea just to get +2 as well, in my opinion.
That's what's missing here.
But he is lacking gas, so I can understand it and appreciate it. Instead, going for that third base.
I mean, he can't make a Twilight Council and take a third base and make Colossi at the same time. He needs a little bit more time, a little bit more gas before he feels comfortable to do that. Almost losing an observer there. Leenock very much wants to push this back and keep him guessing. And if Leenock decides to take a fourth base right now, it will be spotted by that pylon.
Yeah, Leenock going for a...
Oh, he's doing it again! And he actually warps in Zealots.
Yeah, he's going to lose it now. A little greedy there. I mean,
yeah, I don't know about that.
Maybe if the especially if the Zerg was pushing on the map, that would have been the best move ever because he would have lost the natural for sure. But instead, loses everything.
I mean, super in a word in this series has been pressure. Look at him. He's like, he lost all those units. He's still moving out on the map while he's taking a third base, and he doesn't have Colossus range yet.
Yeah, Leenock has no idea that third base is even going down. And I don't think he even knows that there's Colossi coming.
He's just so...
I think it's safe to assume there.
Well, he's about to confirm with the
he
lane.
saw the Robo Bay. All right, so he knows.
He got Burrow Movement also, which can be great against a small Colossus count.
Yeah. From what we see, if we see Super actually move towards Leenock's base, I think it'd be a horrible mistake because of that. But if he stayed at home and just made a death ball, Burrow Roaches won't do much. But here we go. Super. Bravest man alive.
Well, with Burrow Movement here, he can't just force field and walk back. I think that's exactly what you were getting into saying before this attack happened. Now he's losing so many units.
Yeah, force field is just never going to work. He doesn't have enough DPS to kind of punish the Roaches for burrowing under them, even if there's a observer there.
If he kill these rocks, that might be something he could do here.
Yeah, I think Leenock's just going to steamroll from here. He's got to be a little careful not to overcommit.
Well, he's just so close to this army right now. Good control by Super, though.
If you can get rid of like one Colossi, it'd make things so much easier as well. So much damage.
He's getting close to doing so, but he's never able to quite finish those Colossi off. And now Zealots are at the front here to tank. And Leenock is eating a lot of damage, but it ends up being a good trade overall because that third base is so late for Super. Third Colossus comes out.
Colossi will make a big difference as well. Leenock trying his best to focus him down.
Oh, he's got Hydras even now here to do that extra burst damage.
He has committed way too far. He's going to lose everything.
Oh, the Colossus has 21 hit points left. What?
10 HP, man. 10 HP left. Leenock going to continue to push the issue, but I think he might have just ran out of steam in that instant because he was way too aggressive.
Look at this. This is that base I was talking about. You could just see and block with that pylon, but Super moving up at the worst possible time here, expecting Leenock to have moved back. He still saves his 10 hit point Colossus. Force fields go down, and Leenock's army now out of steam, like you said. A bit weak. He's going to try to find an opening here at this third base. There's a cannon to help out, and now a third Colossus comes down again. Just make sure he doesn't lose that one Colossus, and he is going to just crush this army over and over again. And Leenock is just now starting a Spire.
Yeah, I think he really thought of his transition a little too late. I think his plan was to simply just kill him with this massive Roach Hydra push, but yeah, just a bit too far of an overcommitment there, and just enough Colossus out in time to really clean things up. And we should see a fifth base from Leenock as well, but I think he's too worried about a counterattack coming after committing so many units.
The way Super is playing this is like a Zerg's worst nightmare. There's never a moment where Super says, I guess I'll just sit back and get some units out for a second, then move out. He's always moving out. If his units aren't at home defending, they are attacking instantly. There's never any downtime. Oh no, though!
Except this.
Except this. This Colossi totally exposed here. Oh, and another Colossus exposed. This is Leenock's way back into this game.
Is he actually keep it alive in there? That's
almost.
A lot of Zealots there, and they're going to deal with all these Zerglings.
Yeah, oh, no hold position. That hurts. A few Roaches out here, but they're some of them very low on health. Super's just going to continue the attack. He knows he has enough to defend back at home.
Well, there's a lot of Roaches here. More than enough to kind of deal with that Colossi.
And there's no Mothership here. He can't recall.
Wow. And everything's just going to drop. Everything's going to disappear from here.
This is actually too much damage. He can't recover from losing all these sentries, can he? I mean...
No. Well, no.
He can't. Now how is he going to hold his third base with no sentries and no Colossi and 12 Zealots against Burrow Movement Roaches?
This is just too much commitment from both players. They're kind of just running at each other with what they can. And now we're seeing Super on the back foot simply because he decided to attack. And we could
Whoa, he has to defend a Roach with a probe.
Yeah, we could see Leenock possibly kill him. I mean, it's only gateway units. Now there's a Colossi, so he will force these Roaches back. And I feel like we should really see Leenock go into that meter switch.
Yeah, he's building the gas for it. I think he's certainly planning on it right now. He has 65 drones. He's got a healthy mineral income now on 4 bases. And I think it's just time to see that meter switch. Once he's got enough to make, say, 14, I think he's going to wait a little bit longer and make, like, 14 or at least 10 meters at a time. That's what he's waiting for here. Hide it to the last possible second.
Yeah. I mean, even 10 is fantastic. That's going to wipe out the mineral line very, very efficiently. And he just has to have his roaches in position to counterattack to kind of trigger that base trade and give Super an incredible disadvantage. Cannot be losing them there.
Did Super ever even make a Twilight Council? Can you check for me? I don't think he did. No,
nope.
He didn't. So he's not going to have Blink,
no
like,
Blink,
ever.
No +2 either, which is very efficient against roaches. Instead,
some counterattacks here.
He's just being so aggressive, man. Both players just insanely aggressive, insanely pressure-oriented.
Yeah. 2 Rams crashing their heads together here. Well, Leenock is, you know, right now from Super's perspective, it looks like Leenock is kind of desperately trying to find damage, and he's like, well, you're just using roaches still, I'm going to be fine. But when he sees the Mutalisk, that's when he's going to start to panic.
I think we're actually just going to see GG when these mutas come to the natural.
He doesn't have Blink. He doesn't have enough answer for this at all. Super had the game almost won, but he lost all of his Colossi with some, frankly, horrible control. And just, I guess control's not even, he just wasn't babysitting them. They were all just not being watched, and it was just bad luck on the Colossus at the natural. Yeah. The ones at the front were just out to the side. GG.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mixture of things. I mean, Super did have the advantage with the massive Roach overcommitment, but Super was never planning to transition into Blink Stalkers or +2 or the later sort of game. He kind of just wanted to kill with Colossi Gateway, and then he overcommitted with his units. Didn't really have much to reinforce with as well, because he kept reinforcing his third base to deal with the Zerg counterattack. Yeah. Eventually, Leenock cleans everything up and has a